Recently, the new Constellar Tellarknight support came out and I made a video about it, but today I decided to showcase a detailed deck list with 3 different combos and teach you everything I know about this deck. Alright, so we're gonna start with the 1-card combo and it is gonna be with Sheraton. Now, as you can see, my hand is stuffed with different extenders, but we're not gonna use any of them, just for the purpose of showing you guys the 1-card combo only. So we're gonna normal summon activate Sheraton's effect here, and we're gonna search out a copy of the Constellar Caduceus. Now, Constellar Caduceus can actually be special summoned when I control a Constellar monster, and when you activate the effect, it allows you to search out a Constellar spell or trap, and we're gonna add the Twinkle. Now, Twinkle's purpose here in this deck is basically only for that combo, and is to make the Sheraton become a level 4, which is exactly what we need to continue our combos. Now, once we have 2 level 4 bodies, we can then just straight up go into our place and just pop off as much as we want with the Tellarknight, Constellar, Caduceus. Now we can activate the effect, bring back the Twinkle. We don't need to do that, by the way. I'm just showing you what you can do with this card, but typically you do not activate it that early. This is the first effect. First effect, you just keep it for later on, but this is, you know, this is the effect basically. That was a small out of context thing. Now here, because we do not have the Constellar Tellarknight spell card, we're gonna have to banish our Lyran to be able to search it out. By detaching one, we're gonna be able to add our Constellar Tellarknight to our hand, which is then gonna allow us to continue extending our place. Now I can activate the Constellar Tellarknight, and typically, of course, in that case, we can go for Altair and all that stuff, but we're gonna go for the Caduceus, pretend like these cards never even existed in this game, and we're gonna then Xyz summon into the Ptolemaeus M7. Once we have it on the field, we can activate the effect of our continuous spell, which is basically allowing us to target it, and Xyz summon on top of it, going down into the Delteros. And Delteros is one of the most insane cards in this deck, because every time it's sent to the graveyard, you can actually special summon a Tellarknight monster from the deck, and it's not even a once per turn. Now we activated the effect to pop it, then we activate this effect, and we are able to go and summon our Altair. Now in that case, I will summon it from the hand because it's already in the hand, but typically you want to go from the deck, clearly. Then we're gonna activate the effect of Altair, bring back the Delteros, and the name of the game here is just cycle Delteros as much as possible, summon it as much times as possible. Then we're gonna use 2 of our monsters and go into our Izodi lineup, which is gonna be able to get us to Apollousa, plus that we're gonna be able to trigger Delteros effect multiple times. Now we're gonna activate Chainlink 1 Delteros, and this is actually interesting to protect your Delteros. You can activate Izodi Chainlink 2, and basically what you're doing is your Delteros is not hurt from this. Now we're gonna be able to add from deck to hand, and typically we want to search out something that we will not use at all. So in that case, what are we not gonna use? Well, we might use everything here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. We're gonna just search out a copy of Lyran. Now typically we want to add something that we've already used, but you know, in that case it would have been Altair, but we already have it. Now we will special summon from the deck off of the effect of the Delteros. In that case, either for Deneb, because Deneb allows us to add something to hand, or we can even go for Vega. Vega allows us to special summon anything from hand. Now in that case, Vega would be better, but of course Deneb is gonna be an option if we don't have anything in hand. Now another great option, and that is the one that I'm actually gonna go for, will be Unicly. And the reason why I do this is because when I summon Unicly, I get to mill one very important card, and that is our copy of Alterian, which is an additional body for later on. We're gonna activate the effect of Izodi here, and we're gonna send 1 card to the graveyard, meaning the Living Fossil. That will allow us to special summon the Renault, and when we do that, we can activate the effect of Renault, add back the Living Fossil, which is an additional extender, by the way. It is actually a really cool card to play in the deck. From here, we're gonna use both of my monsters and go into Gagaga Magician, and this is the final way to resummon back the Delteros from the graveyard and continue abusing this card's broken effect that is not once per turn. Now activating the effect, detach one, doesn't matter which one, target the Delteros, bring it back again to the field in defense mode, boom, additional body. Then we can activate the effect of Altairan, which we sent to the graveyard earlier, and we can special summon it as well because we special summoned a Tellar or Constellar Knight. Then we're not gonna use the effect because this is a popping effect. Then we're gonna use 3 of our monsters to go into Apollousa by using Delteros, Izodi, and also the Renault, and that will trigger the Delteros effect one final time, getting us an additional body. That's right, we're gonna activate it, and we're gonna special summon something. What we could do is we could go Deneb, add something to the hand if we don't have any Stellar Knight monster here. But if you want to get the best board possible, you might most likely have already a body. So if we special summon instead the Vega, we're gonna be able to get into more extending, and that's what I'm gonna do in that case. But if you don't have it, just go for the Deneb. The chances are extremely low that you will not have anything, but you know, anyways, space summoning one more body, again not using the effect. Then we're gonna use 2 of our monsters, and we're gonna go into the second copy of our Stellar Knight Constellar Caduceus, which then will let us activate the first effect and bring back something from the graveyard, just recycle resources. But since I used the effect earlier on, we're not gonna be able to do that. Now the best way to go for it is to just activate it right now. I just did a small misplay, which you shouldn't do. Now with those 2 bodies, what you can do is you can just go Utopic Future into Utopic Draco Future for an additional interruption. As I said, the deck is pretty capable into going into a lot of things, and remember that this is only 1 card getting us to all of those plays, plus that I used 1 extender off of Vegas's effect, which most likely you would have had anyways. Now we're gonna go and activate the Living Fossil and return from the graveyard 1 body here, any card. We don't need a particular one, we just need a level 4 body. And again, we're gonna go into Xyz play, and the last play that we're gonna go into is gonna be by using 2 of our bodies, and we're gonna go into the Dark Stellar Knight Bathlemius, and afterwards we're gonna activate Bathlemius' effect here by detaching 1. We are gonna be able to discard something, doesn't matter what we discard, and just go and Xyz summon into the Diamond. Now Diamond has 2 effects, one of which is something like Abyss Dweller, and the other one is you can negate an opponent's Dark Monster's effect. So that is basically 1 negate, 3 more negates off of a Palooza, and 2 more interruptions off of the Diamond. Now if you had 1 more body, you could instead summon the Ptolemaeus and then go with Ptolemaeus into the Palladius, and Palladius is a bounce effect, but this is what we've got here, and this is your 1 card combo. Okay guys, so this is going to be the skip your turn combo. Now you don't need that many extenders the way I have them, but you know, I do have them, so I'm gonna just showcase it. I'm gonna normal summon my Deneb here in that case, and what you really need is 2 bodies to start your plays with, obviously to go into your monsters. Now here the great option is just to search out either a copy of Altair, which you already have in hand, or a copy of Caduceus, which you already have in hand as well. So I might as well just search out a copy of Vega here, and I'm gonna go with the plays a little bit differently. So this is not the only way to go into that combo. Now the thing that you definitely do every single time is just you simply use 2 of your monsters and go into Caduceus. This is your best card in the deck, is absolutely incredible. Now I am gonna banish here, and I'm gonna choose to banish the Lyron, because in that case we just need to get the additional spell cards. And I'm firstly gonna search out a copy of the Stellar Knight Skybridge. And now the reason why I don't search out the Constellar Stellar Knights is because when I special summon the other monster here, the Constellar Caduceus, I can then activate the effect and search out a Constellar Knight spell or trap, which is gonna be exactly the Constellar Stellar Knights. And this is the 2 spell cards that we need here. From here on, we are just gonna go into a whole bunch of bodies. So we're gonna just activate the effect of Skybridge. And now if we don't have Altair in our hand, we simply activate Skybridge and we just go into Altair. Now in that case, we do have it. So we're gonna go and special summon a different monster by shuffling into the deck the Xyz monster. And we're gonna then activate the effect of our Unuklai, which is gonna allow us to send to the graveyard the Altairan. And this is an additional extender. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna activate Constellar Stellar Knights here, which is gonna let me also special summon a body from the hand. Now I can special summon Vega here, and I can then go activate Vega's effect, special summon the Altair, and also I can even go Altairan, special summon it as well too. So I have like an additional body too much. So as you can see, this is too much bodies for that particular combo. You can get away with 1 less body here, but I'm just gonna use all of them just to show them guys. And you cannot activate Altair's effect because you don't have any more places. Now we're gonna use all 5 and go into our Stellar Knight Constellar Caduceus again by using 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And obviously we are not gonna use the second effect because we already did it, but we're gonna use rather the first effect just as a bonus, which will get us access to the Skybridge again for next turn, which is already pretty nice. I mean, just a bonus here. And now we're gonna go into the Ptolemy M7 by using that monster, which is gonna give us the 6th material here That's really important because now we're gonna activate the Constellar Tellar Knights and we're gonna go and Xyz summon into the one, the only, the limited to one copy Tellar Knight Polemius, and this is an absolutely broken card. I'm gonna summon it in defense mode, and here's the effect. When you detach 7 materials off of this card, which we managed to get here, you can skip your opponent's turn. That is right. You just skip it completely. So now when I go and end my turn, there is an end phase effect which you don't need to activate. Basically allows you to attach a monster from the extra deck to it, but we don't need that. And now I'm gonna just not negate it. And now look at this, just turn change and back to me. That is the skipping turn, and here you just basically win the game with that. That is just a ridiculously good combo. Now moving on to the next one. Alright, so that will be basically a random 2-card combo, you know, just basically whatever cards you got in hand, nothing in particular that great. And we're gonna start off by normal summoning our Deneb here, and we're gonna activate the effect to search out a copy of whatever we need. Now in that case, we do have this thing in our hand, and typically we could use a card like the Unikau High, because it allows us to send to the graveyard the Altairan. It is basically a really good card. Now of course Altair is also a great option, but in that case we cannot use it. So for now we're gonna search out this one, and this is one of the worst possible case scenarios in which it's really difficult to actually get even one body. But with the Constellar Tellar Knight we are gonna be able to do something. We're gonna special summon this one, not the other one, because the other one can be special summoned on its own. Do not make that mistake. Now we're gonna activate this effect, and we're gonna send to the graveyard the Altairan, and this card needs to be in the graveyard because it's an additional body to extend your plays with. Now we're gonna go into the Tellar Knight Constellar. Again, you guessed it, Caduceus. Now, this card is basically the bread and butter of this deck. You just need this card every single time. The whole point of this deck is to just get to that card, nothing else. This is the main thing you need to go into. And we special summon back the Altairan because I summoned the Tellar Knight or Constellar monster, but we're not gonna use the effect because it's a popping effect. Now we're gonna also special summon using the Constellar Caduceus, summon it in attack mode, and we're gonna activate the effect. And the only thing that we can actually search out in that case scenario is just gonna be a second copy of this, because we don't need a Twinkle. Now let's activate the effect of the Xyz monster here, and there are two choices. If we didn't have this, we would have banished the Sheraton to get it. If we didn't have this, we would have banished the Unuklai to get it to send to the graveyard, but in that case we banished the Lyran, because the Lyran, when we detach something, allows us to get a copy of the Skybridge, and this is the last card that we need to go into full combo. Now we're just gonna use my monster and go into Ptolemy M7 using it, because afterwards I am gonna do the Constellar Tellar Knight second effect. Now by activating the second effect of the Constellar Tellar Knight, I can target this and I can summon one of the best cards in this deck, and that is the Deuteros. This card is an absolute disgrace. Is just ridiculously good. It is monstrosity, and I'm gonna activate the Deuteros effect. I'm gonna basically detach one, pop it, boom, send it to the graveyard, and after I send it I can activate the effect, special summon a Tellar Knight monster from the deck, not once per turn. You can abuse that all you want, and I can go and special summon a whole bunch of bodies. Now in that case Altair seems like the best option because it allows us to bring back the Deuteros. And by the way, you need to bring back the Deuteros as much times as possible by using the Altair, and also by using the Gagaga Magician here in our extra deck, which we're gonna do a little bit later. Now we're gonna go into the Izodi lineup by using the Altair and also the Deuteros, and here's where you can activate the Deuteros again and also chain the Izodi. Now we're gonna activate Chain Link 1, the Deuteros, and we're gonna protect it with the Izodi effect, because we do not need the Izodi effect, we do need the Deuteros effect. That is really important to keep in mind. This is a good chain block which you can make use of. Now we're gonna add from deck to hand Altair as a follow-up, because we already used Altair's effect, so we don't need to summon it again. And we're gonna special summon Deneb. Here is gonna be a great option actually to special summon, because we already did that. We already did all the other ones. Actually we already did the Deneb as well, so you know there's nothing really much more to special summon. So we're just gonna go for the Lyran now, because you know we can activate the effect and just search out something. Not that we need it again, we already have everything we need. As you can see, our hand is even more capable of dealing with stuff than it needs to be. And now I'm gonna activate the effect of my Izodi. I'm gonna send by using only one card, you know, the one brick that we played, the Living Fossil, which is actually not that big of a brick because it's also an extender, and special summon the Renault as an additional body. Now I can activate Renault effect, which allows me to bring back Living Fossil, and that will give me an additional body a little bit later on in the combos, right? This is even better. Then we're just gonna go and use the Gagaga Magician by using two of our monsters, summon it in attack mode, And this is the second way to bring back the Deltaros from the graveyard. That is why we play this card, and this card is actually absolutely amazing. Now we're gonna activate the effect of the Gaga Magician, detach one, doesn't matter which one, target the Deltaros, special summon it, and afterwards we're gonna be able to use the effect once again. And we're gonna now link it off for a 3 interruptions Apollousa using this, using Izodi as 2 materials, and also using the Renault. Summoning the Apollousa, and now activating the Deltaros once again. Basically, at this point, it is just gonna be a free body. We do not need anything more than just a free body here. And we're gonna only special summon just whatever we need. Like, in that case, they just go for Vega. If we had a monster in hand, we would have been able to special summon one, but it's still fine. It's not that big of a deal. We already have enough stuff going on. Then we're gonna be able to go into this guy. And actually, this is a way to get the Vega effect going as well. And you're gonna see how in a little bit. Let's activate the effect now. And we're gonna get back to the hand something. We're gonna add to the hand, I guess, this thing. We just need an additional body, and we're also gonna get, even a second body to the hand. This is just, just a small bonus that we can get. And look at this, dude, we have 8 cards in our hand just off of different things we do. Now I am gonna use both of my monsters to go into the Utopic Draco Future, which is actually where my combos really just change a little bit from other people. I tend to go into that card quite a bit. Now I'm gonna go into the Utopic Draco Future clearly, and we're gonna move to the final part of this combo, which is gonna include the Living Fossil in that case. Now I'm gonna activate the Living Fossil, and we need to bring back something. It doesn't matter which one, it just needs to be one of those monsters. We're gonna bring back the Deneb in that case, and we're gonna use the Sky Bridge finally to get and extend a little bit more. So now let's activate Sky Bridge. Let's choose the Deneb. Let's special summon from the deck the Vega, you guessed it, and we're gonna special summon one of the bodies that we returned to hand earlier, and we're gonna special summon, it doesn't matter which one, we've already used both of the effects, and that will give us our final monster here. And it's gonna be by using 2 of my monsters and summoning the Badlimius, which is then gonna be able to summon us the last interruption. Now by detaching one, I can go ahead, discard 1 card, doesn't matter which card, whatever card we want, and we can get into the Diamond. Now Diamond has the ability of a Abyss Dweller type of effect, and also has the ability to negate my opponent's Dark Monsters effects. Now, if you had one more body, you could instead go into the Ptolemaeus, use the first effect, and summon the Palladius on top of that and have a bouncing effect. But this is our combo with 2 cards. Any 2 cards can work. Depending on different cases, you need to think about different things what you actually need, and eventually you get to that board, or at least something close to it. So these were the combos. Now it's time for the deck list. So when you talk about the deck list, there really isn't that much I would change compared to my recent video that I made about the deck, but if you actually watched it, you know that I had a hard time beating poorly. For that reason, I would highly suggest you cut out some of the hand traps or staples here and put a Kaiju or Kurikara or both, because no, it's ridiculously good, and also a Rice card is a little bit annoying to deal with, considering the fact that Altairon is a card that you can special summon from grave and you want it there. Other than that, the ratios don't need to be changed much. Again, as I said in my previous video, Sheraton can go up to 2 sometimes. There's also the Sky Bridge, and you can get it down to 1 if you want to. There are some deck lists running Altairon at 1, but if you do that, you also need to cut Unuka High to 1 as well. Although keep in mind that if this card's at 1 and you actually hard draw it, you will then not be able to send it to the graveyard off of this effect or any other effect. As of the rest, you do need 2 copies of the Altairon, 2 copies of the Nep, and all the other ones. I don't think that the ratios need to be switched. Of course, you need 3 copies of Lyron, and 3 copies of Caduceus is also really good. Now, as of the Izodi engine, you could get rid of the Renault, the Living Fossil, and also Izodi and Apollousa, but the only thing that will happen off of this is that you will get the Deltaros effect triggered less times, because as you can see, this card is really good to be sent to the graveyard as much as possible. For that reason, I do believe that you need to keep the Izodi engine. As of the extra deck, there really is one monster you can put a second copy of, and that is Deltaros, because when you play versus Kashtira's, sometimes they can banish it and limit your plays. Other than that, nothing really is cuttable or changeable. Also, Trevor is a card that is not really necessary to play since I never summoned it once, but if you do manage to summon it, the effect is actually ridiculously good because you can return all cards on the field to the hand. So this is your board wipe effect, which you can use every now and then. And that was all for this video. I hope that guide was helpful, and I hope that you learned something out of it, and if you did, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. Also, feel free to comment down below any other questions we have or anything related to the video. I would love to answer your questions. Feel free to check out my Teller Knight gameplay video or any other video in the channel, but for now, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.